Yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Angel, coming to you live all the way from Orlando, Florida. Thank you for tuning in. I am blessed and honored to be here. Listen, if it's your first time on this podcast, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please show me your support. If you show me your support, I will double the support on your business, your podcast, your website, your clothing line brand, whatever it is. I will double it. I guarantee that. Okay, guys, listen. Today I have an episode that is going to be on fire. I need you to tune in closely and listen, okay? Because today's guest, her name is Gail Casper, okay? The former Miss Continental America 2008. All right. Gail Casper is an actress, comedian, late night television host of Raw Reality with Gail Casper, born and raised in Philadelphia. Fly, Eagles, fly. All right. They're going all the way to the Super Bowl, guys. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to predict the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Eagles, okay, and Kansas City, Mahomes and Hurts. Write it down, bet on it. That's going to happen. Listen, she's a certified coach. She's an author. She's everything. Just Google her, all right? I don't even think she needs an introduction. Google her, Gail Casper, okay? Look her up. She has her book called, she has many books, but one of the books that calls my attention because she sent it to me, Unstoppable. I want to know why she called it Unstoppable. What was the dedication? Because I saw something there about her dedication. She has an amazing story. I'm a fan of stories. If you guys know me very well, I'm a super fan of stories, okay? I'm super excited. If you could tell in my voice, I'm excited. I'm emotional. So let's go. Let's get this party started. I want to welcome Gail. Yes, she is in the building.
Yeah. Hi, Angel. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. Listen, thank you for your time. Your time is gold. I know you're a busy, super entrepreneur woman. You're a busy author. You're busy actress, comedian, everything. You're everything. But there's something that calls my attention about you is your story. If I read very well on your bio, you had at a young age, you took the I don't know, you just took that path to go to a whole new, is that right? California, right? And you went out there
Yeah,
with
yeah.
nothing. You didn't have no friends, no family, no home,
That's right.
right? I mean, I've known people. I've had uncles that back in the 80s and 70s, you know, there was this thing about Hollywood. You go out there, if you are able to make it out there, you can make it. And I had friends and family that attempted that. Of course, they weren't successful, but you were successful. Please share with my audience your story. What was that mindset? What was that trigger that made you take that dare? I mean, it's a dare to go out there with nothing.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, Angel, if I just wasn't thinking, you know.
Well, hey, you were a teenager there. I mean, what, 19, 18, 19? Who
Yeah,
thinks at that age,
I was
right?
I was 19 years old, and I had always wanted to get into acting and my career out there in California, and I never thought I would, honestly. I struggled through college because I really wanted to be a newscaster, and I changed my major so many different times that finally I dropped out of college. And when I dropped out of college, I was so distraught and lost and really needed to do something with my life, and hence I went to California. And at a young age, yes, people say that, and I just packed my bags. I had 2 days with someone, daughter, my father's friend's daughter had a place, so I stayed with her for 2 days. And then there was this other couple I stayed with for 2 days, and then I was really pretty much on my own. I found
Wow.
this shoebox of an apartment for $250 and a month. Didn't have a job at the time, didn't have a car, had to take the bus back and which, if you know anything about the Los Angeles area, the buses are not dependable. So you
Yeah.
really have to be super early to work for 9 o'clock in the morning. So I never got, though, into my career. I started to fell into the rap. It was, and it just I just stayed in it. I worked like 24, 6 days a week.
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a delay there. So that's amazing. Cause so you went out there, and so what happens next? Like what is where was the mindset, right? We're talking about that mindset. Where's that mindset that you say, okay, I'm here now, I made it here. What's next? So what was the next step after that?
Well, of course, you have to get yourself a job. I became
Right.
a real estate office, and
Okay.
I fell into work. The mindset is you're taught you have to survive. When I left that house, my parents' house at 19, and I was no longer under their roof, I was on my own. And,
Right.
it wasn't like my father and my mom were making big money. So if I was ever struggling, I really had to figure it out on 19. I have been doing it on my own.
Yeah.
So just know that you have to figure things out. There's that mindset that a responsibility. I've been through some of the biggest tragedies in my life, but being in my own business, I have a responsibility to my clients. You've got to show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the night before I was to do a big husband had told me he was leaving. So I had to show up for that speech, day,
Wow.
and nothing could go wrong. I died, and the next, like, you've got to show up.
That's amazing. That's very important. I think that's key right there, showing up. So then what inspires you to write this book Unstoppable? I mean, I see
I
and
missed
the
that
dedication.
question, Angel. Did you ask me a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I want to talk about the book Unstoppable, right? It's one of your books with Unstoppable, and you said it's dedicated to your father. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about where the idea for the book had come from. So I don't know if that's the direction you wanted to go with that question. We broke
Yes.
up a little bit.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, that's the direction. Go ahead. Oh, it broke up a little. Hello? Oh, oh, it went off. All right, guys, we're having a little technical difficulties as usual with my internet. So let's see if Gail is able to log in. Listen, guys, while she logs in, remember in transition radio, and I think that's what I have to do. I have to take this podcast into radio. That's what I'm gonna be doing shortly. So let's bring her back. Thank you for connecting again, Gail. I'm sorry.
Oh no, gosh, crap happens. Welcome to life.
Right? Welcome to Wi-Fi life. Listen,
Welcome to any life. If this is the worst it gets, we're in good shape. We're in great
that's
shape.
right.
So,
Thank you. I love your positive. That's awesome. That's awesome. So
yeah, my God.
what inspired the book? Because Unstoppable, you says dedicated to your father. I have a 11-year-old, and my daughter and I, we have this special bond. And you said those words that it just touched my heart. What was so special? How important is that for that daughter and father relationship?
Well, it's interesting because my father and I were never the two that were sitting there having whiskey together and cigars and hanging out and chatting. It just wasn't that. We were so much alike that
Wow.
we, being in the same room, we would sometimes butt heads. But it never lessened my appreciation or value of who he is, how much I loved him, respected him,
Wow.
admired him, and know that he's human. You know what I mean? Like we all have our flaws, but
Yeah.
his strengths and his wisdom so far surpassed everything else. Like you knew that people were around him that worked for him, that knew him, respected him. He would call things as they were and said it with such wisdom that you were compelled to listen to him. And,
Wow.
it just, when he entered a room, you saw his presence. When he spoke, you listened. His
Wow.
tone of voice was such that it was definite. So you couldn't not pay attention to him. I used to watch him give advice to people from across the room, and they were just compelled to listen. And he did a lot on his own. he was forced to kind of keep his life together on his own since he was young and make it on his own and take care of a family,
Yes.
figure it out on his own. And all of that wisdom just compounded over the years. And with the gifts that he was
Wow.
given, like I said, his presence, his tone of voice, his words with that level of power, um, he just reached so many people. And I know through the books I write, through the speeches I
Yeah.
give, it's my
I
dad.
see it. I see
It's,
that.
it's
Yes,
my
that's
dad.
awesome. I see that. That's a seed. He planted that seed in you. That is so special, Gail. Thank you for sharing that. So let's get into it. What are the six, according to you, easy steps to find and achieve your fire? Not just six steps, six easy
Easy
steps.
steps, right?
Easy.
All right. Well,
Yes.
here's what I want you to think about is we have the tools within us to take any step or any direction we want. We
Yes.
have those tools. It's a matter of utilizing them and making them known and thinking about them and taking the time to make them happen. So if you can give yourself um, the fortitude to sit with yourself and think about the direction that you want to go and how you're going to get there. And if you don't know, who can you surround yourself with? Because step one in that process is, what are your external and internal influences? What are the things in life that have driven you to be who you are? So it could be the environment you were raised. You brought up the point with my father, who he was, the values he had. We lived by
Yes.
such a high standard of values that it set the direction for my life. But look at your life. What are the things that you've had around you? What are the things that you've said to yourself, you know what, as I'm getting a little bit older, I don't really need to be around Uncle Jack anymore. you know
Yeah.
like his influence isn't the same as mine, the direction he wants to take me, or I don't feel good about myself around him. So we
Right.
need to weigh those things out, like who are the people
Okay.
that we want to keep in our lives, who are the people that we don't, who has made us who we are today, and who can we take from and just continue to build. So that's number one in the process.
Okay.
Number two is your steel support team. And I refer to them as family, like a friend, meaning that person that's behind you, that's there for you no matter what. An associate, this could be somebody from work that's a good guide that will listen to you, you'll listen to them. A mentor, that person that's going to lay things out for you, but also believe in you. They're the first ones that are going to be like, you know what? Let's see how we can make that happen. They're not the first ones to say no. So
Okay.
the mentor. And as you can see, I'm spelling out the word family, FAM. So the I is an instructor. That could be a
Okay.
class you're taking, someone that you're learning from. The L is for loved one. So there's always somebody in the family, and you always hope there's someone in the family that gets you. I'm the black sheep. I don't know about you, Angel, but I'm my family.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to find that one person that I truly connect to and see eye to eye. I was the one that was the entrepreneur, went out on my own. They enjoy and like to work for someone. Everybody's got their thing. But
Of
who's a
course.
loved one that can support you? And then finally, the why is you. You bring you to the table. So you're surrounding yourself with all these components and people that can help you guide in terms of getting to those specific goals.
Okay.
Now, step three in the process is about your strengths. What are your strengths? And when
Mm.
you think of those strengths, I want you to think about from the time that you were a kid, growing up. What is something somebody said to you, you're really good at that? You really excel. Like since I was younger, I have been doing speech competitions. Since I was younger, I have somehow found myself in front of an audience. Even my social media today, if you watch that, I incorporate acting into it. So there's always some part of me that stems from when I was younger that I continue to bring into my world today. So I would ask people to think about those things. What are the strengths that you've had since you were younger that you can bring into your world today?
Okay.
And then number four is your attitude. We talk about
Oh.
having that right attitude.
Oh
Um,
yes.
as an entrepreneur, and you know this, Angel, but at one point when I started my business, I was more an employee to my business. And I don't remember the saying for this, but somebody had once told me you can either be the employee for your business or you can really be that entrepreneur. So for a
Right.
long time, I was the employee for my business. I was working for me, but I was not building my company. And then I started to bring people from the outside to help support those efforts and to help my company grow. And initially, when you're doing that, you're trying to figure out who that right team is. Who are these people that are going to be surrounded? They're actually going to be in your corner and they're going to be around you. Who are they? Some of those people aren't going to stay. Some of them will go, some of them will stay. And I reached a point as an entrepreneur in that growing process where I felt myself pulling certain people along. Like I was almost doing their job to the point that if there were a cliff in front of me, Angel, I would have wanted to jump.
Wow.
Because it was like
Wow.
so much to build it.
Yeah.
And you're doing so much of the work already, and now you're doing their jobs too.
Wow.
But I realized, now again, that could be logical or emotional. I could go off the
Okay.
deep end with something like that, or I can be logical. And because I had grown in my own life, I knew that that step where I wanted to jump off that cliff was actually a step in growing as an entrepreneur. It was pushing me to getting over that hump. But you have to logically be able to tell yourself that. You can't be in a
Mm.
spot that you're just falling apart and everything stops moving and you stop believing in yourself. You got to keep that momentum and you got to still move forward. So your attitude is everything in that process.
Yes.
And then
I love
step
that.
5 is that action plan. Okay, what are the steps? What are you going to do? How are you going to build your life? And then finally, step 6 is escaping immobilization. Now, this book centers around the idea of being logical versus emotional, meaning immobilization. Okay, well, you know what? I was in a job and I lost my job. Okay, that causes people to go into crisis. I was married for a long time, I'm going through a divorce, or I was dating somebody for a long time, they're no longer there, or I'm suffering financially because I've had medical issues. All of that causes us to go into an emotional place where we just get stuck and it's hard to move. So, Unstoppable is a book that helps you break free of that immobilization, no matter what it is, so that you are being logical and taking the steps to achieve the goals that you want in your life. It kind of backs you up out of the emotion and it makes you think about where you are so you can keep moving forward.
That is awesome. Wow. Those are easy steps. I mean, if you think about it, they're not that complicated. It's fair. I think that's fair to say. So listen, Gail, before we leave, entrepreneurship, right, is not for everybody. We know that. Entrepreneurship, people see it as some type of freedom, and I could be free economically, blah blah blah. But there's a process in entrepreneurship. Let's say, for example, you see a fitness guy, right, or a fitness woman. They had that
Mhm.
body. You're like, wow, I want that body. That's kind. I'm comparing this with entrepreneurship because people say, I want that body. I want to look like that, but there's a process. There's a diet. There's a discipline. There's getting up early, going to
Mhm.
sleep late, separating yourselves from that crowd, that party, investing in yourself, reading books, etc., etc. But a lot of people want to skip that process. They want to go, I want entrepreneurship. I just want that body. That's it. What is your take on that?
Um, and I think that's with anything in life, Angel. Honestly, any goal,
Yeah.
anything you want in life, if you don't have the discipline to follow through on it, you're going to hold yourself back. And I mean, that's as simple as, geez, I just want to lose 10 pounds. If I don't have the discipline to do it, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fitness pictures out there, and people just think, oh, God, Gail, you've always been thin. It's just like, it's just easy. Wow, that shoot looks great. Like, it was just by magic. And what they don't
Hmm.
realize is that, 3 weeks to 4 weeks ahead of time, first of all, I'm always watching on one level or another when it comes to eating right. But 3 to 4 weeks ahead of time, I'm on such a strict diet, a healthy, strict diet. I am on such a workout routine, meaning I don't want to show up for that shoot and let myself down. I
Of
want to have
course.
every single time, I want my pictures to climb a notch. Every single
Mm.
time I want them to go up one. So it's a competition that I have within myself, but the level of discipline is oh my God. It's like I know that okay, this morning at 2:30 in the morning I couldn't sleep. So at 3:30 I got out of bed and I went to the gym. And then I started my
Mm.
workday right after that. So
Wow.
it's what needs to be done and saying you're going to do it. It's doing the things that other people don't feel like doing, and I've heard that saying a lot.
Yes. Absolutely.
When
Action.
I work
Taking
on a
action.
speech, when I work on a speech, it's could be 3 months of writing the speech. But the speech, if you know anything about speech writing and public speaking, it doesn't fully come together until you start to rehearse it. Because in that 3 weeks of rehearsal, which means every single freaking day I'm going through that speech, is when it becomes a part of me, and you start to add the stories, you start to add your life, and you start to add yourself into it. But there's a discipline that comes from that level of memorization when you've got 30-page notes right in front of you.
Yeah.
So you hit the nail
Yeah.
on the head. When I stop and look at what I've accomplished in my life, it's being willing to do without certain things so that
That's
I
right.
could accomplish the goals that I wanted. It was the discipline that was behind it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Now, there's also a sales challenge on your website. Is that still
Yes.
going on this year? We talked to for the audience who may be interested when they go to your website. What is the sales challenge about?
Yeah, well, the sales challenge in a way is about you challenging you. So I'm
Okay.
challenging every sales rep in America that I can pitch their product better
Wow.
than them. So
Wow.
I'm
Get out.
saying, hey, sign up for the challenge. You've got nothing to lose. There will be 5 finalists that are chosen. And of those 5 finalists, one of those people will be chosen to go up against me. I fly to you. If you beat me, you get $5,000. So there's
What?
nothing to lose by getting involved in that sales challenge. There's
Wow.
everything to gain, including building who you are and your own
Yeah.
skill sets and challenging yourself to see what you're capable of doing. So,
Yes. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm super psyched about that. I'm super psyched about who I'm going to be taking on and moving that forward. And
When is it happening?
yeah, it's right now we're scheduling it for April, probably April sometime that it will occur. But I'm going to
Okay.
put up notifications about it so that people know. But right now, people can
Yeah.
go to saleschallenge.tv, sign up to be a part of it. It's really
Yes.
simple. You fill out the form, you submit an entry, 30, 45-second entry video, and then you're in the running. So
But
absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen, get your sales skills ready. Prep yourself. Go in front of the mirror and start practicing. Because if you're gonna go in front of this entrepreneur here, listen, be ready. Gail, wow, that is exciting news. Listen, to close out the segment, what's your next book coming out?
Right, my next book, I don't know. I have a couple different
Oh
projects I
my
can't really talk about right now, but I definitely
God.
want
Okay.
everybody to go to gailcasper.com because you will
Yes.
see information there. You can go to Facebook, be a follower there. That's, of course, where the latest, the greatest things will be happening. If you go to at Gail Casper fans for Facebook or Instagram at Gail Casper, please check it out, become part of my world. I love to hear from people. I'm going to be starting to do some live streams on my social media pages to get more involved with everybody. So I'm coming out of the woodwork. So
Yeah.
please stay in touch. Stay in touch.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm going to have all your links, all your information on the description below on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page. Thank you, Gil. Before we leave, to close this section, what do you have to say to someone that's listening right now that's on the verge of probably just giving up everything entrepreneurship, but they just listen to you and you're inspiring them right now? What's your last words?
My last words to them would be you started in the role that you're in right now to be an entrepreneur for a reason. So go back to that reason. And if you need to surround yourself with some new people to get new input to build, do it. Because
Yes.
you don't want to quit and give up on you. If there's a better path, God bless, go get it. But
That's right.
if you believe in this, don't let it go. Keep going.
Awesome. Awesome words from herself, Gail Casper. Gail, thank you so much. I'm so honored from the bottom of my heart. I am blessed to have you here. I wish you nothing but success in everything that you focus on being and that you inspire many, not only women entrepreneurs, but men entrepreneurs as well, and many authors, artists out there that want to write a book, that want to be in the maybe in the film industry, acting, actress, or whatnot. I wish you so much the best, and I'm always here for you, and I'm going to be sharing your content as well. Okay?
Thank you so much. I had a fabulous time. Thank you so
I
much,
did
Eden, for
too.
having me.
It's an honor. You take care.
All
God
right,
bless.
you
Take
too.
care. Bye
Bye.
bye. All right, folks. So there you have it. Gail Casper. Follow her. I'm gonna have all the links below and everything on there so you can follow her. And please, guys, remember also in Transition Radio, we're gonna be taking this podcast and our radio show is gonna be on Tuesday. So tune into that soon because we're gonna be having the radio in Transition Radio with Carlos Cepeda, Quest for Life. If you need a vehicle in the Orlando area, call my man, Carlos Cuesta 407-435-4018. I want to thank him and the team for always supporting this podcast. Thank you. I'll see you on the next episode of the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. And before we leave, I want to leave you with the scripture. It's a positive scripture, one of my favorites. And it's in James 1:5. And it says, but if any of you lack wisdom, we always lack something. But if you lack wisdom, if you need more wisdom, you should pray to God. He will give it to you because God gives generously and graciously to all. Thank you guys. God bless you. And I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.